I mean, competitive sparring matching. So we had to stop sparring because we got too heated in the sparring match. So Dan pulled us out. Yeah, he got the better of me. He outboxed me. He got the better of me. He did his thing that day. But not.
I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, you know, and how he was acting. Being that, you know, me, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, you know, we was all cool at one point in time.
Terence Crawford has fired back at Floyd Mayweather after the boxing legend leaked their sparring session together to mock the three-weight undisputed champion.
Good hook, baby. There you go. You only 3-1. Good jab. Don't break. He's a beast. He's a beast, baby.
He's a beast, baby. Making Terence Crawford look bad is something Floyd Mayweather has been trying to do ever since his win over Canelo. And since boxing fans began to claim that Crawford was a better boxer than him, after calling Crawford out to no avail, he decided to post a few seconds of their sparring session on social media. But that didn't stop Crawford from seeing it and making his comments. Crawford responded with a message for Floyd saying, "This man's such a hater. That wasn't even the full clip. I caught him many times."
Mentioned and talked about and, you know, signed, you know, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, you know, a person that you claim that you're cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. You know, I just know, you know, character take you a long way. And I just don't agree with it.
Floyd Mayweather has been trying a matchup with Crawford since fans began singing Crawford's praises as the GOAT after he defeated Canelo. This didn't sit well with Floyd, especially because Floyd was never undisputed, while Crawford is now undisputed in 3 different weight classes. Yet Crawford has hardly paid any attention to Floyd, claiming he'd only get easy money from
using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But like his core personality.
Mayweather was forced to call out Crawford, not just because boxing fans demanded it, but because 2 of his previous opponents have spoken about Crawford being better than him, which looks like a big insult to the achievement of the boxing legend. Aside from Canelo, Shane Mosley, who lost to Mayweather on points 15 years ago,
All right, Jeff Zimmerman here with the champ, Tim Desert Storm Bradley, 2-division world champ, and oh, by the way, a Hall of Famer. Man, Tim, I want to call you the most outspoken man in boxing. And I mean that affectionately. I gave Keith Thurman.
Speaking to Fight Hub TV, Mosley sensationally claimed that he believes Bud Crawford is actually better than Mayweather, but does give plaudits to his former rival, who he says was very talented. I think Crawford is better, bigger, like he's actually moving up in weight class. And I would say Crawford is a better all-around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can't knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because
it's better out of those 2, Crawford or Mayweather.
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather.
Fans and experts around the world have already begun to debate whether Bud can now be regarded as the greatest fighter of all time after defeating Canelo. Historic victory that has sent the 37-year-old to the top of the pound-for-pound list once again. Canelo, on the other hand, had made it known before the fight, but after his loss, he re-emphasized his stance and claimed Crawford was the better of the 2. Canelo Alvarez made waves during his post-fight press conference when he declared that Terence Crawford is a better fighter than...
You can compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
This statement carries particular weight, considering it came from someone who suffered losses to Crawford as well as Floyd Mayweather. Canelo's willingness to make such a bold claim immediately after losing shows either remarkable sportsmanship or genuine belief in the undefeated Crawford's superiority. The Mexican superstar's comments sparked immediate controversy throughout the boxing community. Some supporters pointed to Crawford's willingness to move up multiple weight classes and face elite competition, while others defended Mayweather's perfect record and superior resume. Terence Crawford himself revealed that Alvarez has been in the ring with both him and Mayweather. Him saying that Crawford was better was because of his personal experience. Talking on the Ariel Helwani show, this is what he said. Canelo.
How did that feel to hear that from someone like him?
I just was like, well, it's his personal opinion. He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. One where he felt like he was
by just pivoting, on the angle and making Canelo reach. There were spots inside the ring that I saw Crawford, try to.
This statement carries particular weight considering it came from someone who suffered losses to Crawford, as well as Floyd Mayweather. Canelo's willingness to. Ultimately, this debate will rage on because it's a subjective opinion. The objective is that both of these fighters are undefeated, at least for now in Crawford's case. We're long-standing champions in several weight classes, and will go down as two of the greatest American boxers in the history of the sweet science. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, McIntyre appeared wearing a hat with the word G.O.A.T, and made it clear that he considers Crawford to be the greatest of all time. According to the trainer, Bud's success is not only his own, but that
You think wins in a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me.
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd?
I don't know. I thought you'd hesitate maybe even a bit, but
For Bomac, the discussion has no nuances. Crawford has already surpassed what Mayweather represented in the ring. Although the debate rages on, Crawford remains more serene. After defeating Alvarez on the scorecards, he avoided the historical confrontation. Floyd was the greatest of his era. I'm the greatest of mine. We don't need to compare ourselves. His message reflects respect for Mayweather, but does not.
Better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. He's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter.
After all, Mayweather defeated a young Canelo in 2013, while Crawford beat a much more experienced version of the Mexican, which gives weight to this new narrative. Stephen A. Smith makes the difference between Crawford and Mayweather. The voice of sports analyst Stephen A. Smith added a key nuance to the debate. For him, Crawford's greatness lies in the fact that he not only technically outboxed Canelo, but also traded blows, withstood pressure, and came out stronger. However, Smith drew
He's really good too, though. You can knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have had the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because it's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician.
According to the analyst, that is the crucial difference. While Crawford showed toughness and responsiveness, Mayweather built his legacy on an almost impenetrable defense. Boxing seems to be divided. Some believe that Crawford has already surpassed Mayweather, while others argue that Floyd's defensive perfection is unparalleled. What is certain is that both marked a different era and elevated the sport with unique styles. The debate of Crawford versus Mayweather is just beginning, and after Canelo's confession and Bomac's words, the conversation promises to continue to make headlines. What is undeniable is that
Crawford against Mayweather, right? How do you think a fight between both of them turn out?
If Mayweather gets hit with Crawford like I hit him and rocked, it might not end well for Mayweather. They might be over it. But Mayweather could outbox Crawford, I think, because Crawford has the mindset that I'm trying to knock you out, and Mayweather knows how to play to that I'm trying to knock you out type of thing, because he's used to people coming at him trying to hit him hard all the time.
However, there's an interesting debate to be had about how Mayweather and Crawford racked up their respective undefeated records. And this is an argument that active boxer Ryan Garcia made during a September 10th segment on
another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, I don't know. I don't go off of that. Floyd is the best fighter, you know, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter.
After a conversation on why Max Kellerman believes that Manny Pacquiao should be above Mayweather on a pound-for-pound ranking of the best boxers this century. In response to ESPN putting Floyd at #1 and Pacquiao at #2 in an article earlier this month, former NFL player LaShawn McCoy said, "Nobody has changed the game like Floyd Money Mayweather." In a bad way? In a bad way, Garcia retorted. He then added, "Mayweather mastered the art of knowing when to fight somebody and knowing when not to fight somebody. I mean, he's the best in that game. He's the best at making money and making all the huge fights happen. But why? Because he was timing every single one of them. He never fought anyone really in their prime. Prime after junior lightweight. So he changed the game in the world."
Game like Floyd Money Mayweather.
He mastered the art of knowing when to fight somebody and when not to fight somebody. I mean, that he's the best in that game. He's the best in, you know, making money and making all the, you know, the huge fights happen. But why? Because he was timing every single one of them. He never fought nobody really in their prime. He always
after junior lightweight. Junior lightweight.
He changed the game in the worst way possible. You're right. Everybody's trying to protect
a lot of the stuff that Canelo was doing, and you know, that I would say this, that work from Boots helped in that aspect, because Canelo was reacting to a lot of the counters that Crawford was throwing. Usually in the past, you know, Canelo would stand right there. He would lunge and he would stay in place, keep his feet in place. However,
truly Crawford's recent accomplishments have some people questioning that hierarchy. And the timing couldn't be more perfect for these discussions as Crawford reaches the absolute peak of his powers while still actively competing at the highest level. Max Kellerman brought his decades of boxing analysis experience to bear when discussing the Crawford versus Mayweather debate on his show Inside the Ring. The veteran commentator acknowledged that Mayweather possesses certain advantages over Crawford, particularly in terms of resume, depth, defensive skills, and hand speed. These technical aspects